very good evening to you. Welcome to NTA's News Top Table, where you get an extra feel of Nigerian stories treated with unique insight. How is the fuel situation at your end? As you already know, from the sudden return of queues to filling stations to the hike in the pump price, a lot of developments have trailed President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's announcement that the era of fuel subsidy is over. You know that saying, there is always a silver lining at the end of the tunnel. We have all the news and conversations trending around the issue. Nigeria's brand new president, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, has already settled down for the business of governance, and China is wasting no time in demonstrating its readiness to raise the bar of its economic cooperation with Nigeria. So a Chinese business delegation went calling on Mr. President. Expectations for the new administration are high, and we have quite a chunk on our lineup for tonight. It's all about agenda setting towards a greater Nigeria. The Women and Gender Equality Bill is in the news again, and it is on a cheery note. Stay with us for the full gist. Well, our list of special reports are a must-watch. One of them should stir your interest towards planting ornamental trees due to their impacts on the environment. It is that time of the year again when people's attention is drawn to the dangers inherent in tobacco use. We have these and other stories all lined up to spice up your viewing pleasure. So let's do it together as the taste of the pudding is in the eating. I am Fatima Umar Buba, and this is News Extra. You're welcome. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has declared that Nigeria is open for honest business and constructive partnerships and would do business with any country so ready. The president, who made the declaration when he received a delegation of President Xi Jinping of China at the State House, Abuja, said both countries can learn from each other, but that Nigeria will remain non-aligned. He promised that his administration would work to promote ease of doing business as Nigeria needs an accelerated growth. President Tinubu said his administration will fight terrorism and all forms of criminality. Chinese President Xi Jinping, in his message delivered by the delegation, pledged increased economic cooperation with Nigeria, saying the country is important to Africa and the world. The special envoy included Peng Kingwa, Vice Chairperson, Standing Committee on National People's Congress, People's Republic of China, and the country's ambassador to Nigeria, Kui Zhengchun, and Minister Councillor Zhang Yi. NNPC Limited has adjusted the pump price of petrol PMS to 537 naira per litre across its retail outlets. A statement from the company says it is in line with the current market realities. Naturally, the change already reflected in most NNPC Limited retail stations is not limited to the company, as most major and independent marketers had continued to unveil new pump prices. Lydia Sampson reports.
Visit to petrol stations in Abuja revealed the different prices, with motorists sharing their experiences. While some are calling for patience and understanding, others say movement with their personal vehicles will now be calculated.
My observation was when he just finished, very short time, and I saw 7 liters. And I began to wonder. I said, how much is your pump price? So it now told me it's 537 naira. Displayed on the pump. I was shocked.
We are just seeing different prices. So some are selling 600, some you just see differently. I'll have to calculate my movement, because if I should get full tank now, I will have to think before leaving the house. I'll make sure that that thing I'm going to do is going to be profitable before I go out. I will not just go out anyhow.
Whatever will be good may not be easy, but let's be patient. All will be well.
195 naira. I buy it here, but their mega station they are selling 537 just this morning today.
In every situation, there are some exceptions. Obviously, a new petrol pump price is in town, but some petrol stations are still selling at the old price, like the one where we are here. They say they are still selling at 195 until they get further directives from their headquarters. And such petrol stations, believe me, are overwhelmed with motorists. Long queues could only be seen where some major marketers are still selling at the old price of 195 per litre. Sources of camera say they will start implementing the new price after exhausting their current product. Some say the competition that subsidy removal will bring is beginning to manifest. Determined to have a feel of the new pump, I drove into one of the petrol stations selling at 540, and it was a seamless experience. This could mean the end of scarcity and long queues in Nigeria. This is more so as NNPC Limited reiterates that it is in line with deregulation and prices will continue to fluctuate to reflect market dynamics. In Abuja, Lydia Samson, NTA News.
As NNPC Limited announced adjustment of the dispensing price of PMS, long queues have eased out from filling stations in Kano, while motorists and the public try to come to terms with the reality of the development. People are seen patiently purchasing the commodity, expressing hope that the increase in price will be of benefit to all Nigerians.
The long queue and panic buying of fuel witnessed in the last 2 days have eased out in most of the petrol stations visited. Motorists are buying the product at an adjusted pump price of 540 to 560 naira per litre, depending on the dispensing marketers. Most of the customers received the new pump price with the hope that the competition by market forces will bring down the price as time goes on.
Actually, I'm very grateful. I'm very grateful for seeing the queue. It's not as much as the first day.
Well, we know it's going to happen, so we are not surprised. About the dial price is once too high.
Normal to us, it's not a new thing. We have been witnessing pump price. It's only this one is higher than what we have been seeing before. We are not regretting, and we are hoping for better.
They also appealed to government to look at measures that will help ameliorate the situation.
When people are started getting it enough, then we hope that the price might come down. There will be enough competition, and people might decide to start reducing their price from even what the government is giving us now. So there's no problem.
Currently, some petrol stations within the Kano metropolis are not dispensing, while some are offloading the commodity, hoping to start selling the product soon.
Oh, thank you so much for that. Now, mixed reactions have continued to troll the removal of fuel subsidy in Niger State, which has led to increase in pump price with more than 300% increment. Noura Ibrahim went around Mina Metropolis to feel the pulse of some residents on the prevailing reality.
At the time of NTA's visit, many outlets shut their facilities and refused to dispense the commodity to motorists, which further create artificial scarcity, sparkling the expression and panic buying. NNPC and few other major marketers who are dispensing the product peg their prices between 537 naira to 600 naira per litre.
Removing subsidy actually is one of the best for the country, because so-called cabals are using this opportunity to siphon our funds for their own personal interest and development. For if you look at this, the little thing that we're supposed to do is sensitization. We have to let people know. That is what government failed to understand.
No, I was satisfied, but the only thing is that a person will be satisfied. To implement is a problem. But if they can implement, I think things will be all right.
The federal government says it has kept the fuel prices artificially low for decades, thereby worsening government finances. In Mina, Noura Ibrahim, NTA News.
Well, still talking about, the pump price, we have Shomi Olabode right here in the studio. He is an oil and gas expert. It's good to have you on News Extra.
Thank you. Good evening. It's a pleasure to be here.
Well, we've been talking, we had like 2 or 3 or more reports talking about the fuel subsidy removal and all of that. So let's start with your take on the subsidy removal, like I said, considering, the fact that it remained an unrealistic recurring decimal for previous administration and now it's here.
Okay, I think first and fundamentally, subsidy as an economic principle is not a bad phenomenon. That's subsidy in and of itself. However, the subsidy in question, which is for fuel prices, has become like a kind of cancer for Nigeria, primarily owing to many factors, one of which is corruption, the other is how it is administered, and so many other things which are not the subject now. But the fact remains that there's a huge amount that is involved. And if the goal is development, that is for the development of the people, then those monies can actually be used for building infrastructure, pipelines, road, rail, and other things. So that is at the background of the idea of the removal of subsidy. So when we're going to talk about it in principle, yes, subsidy itself may not be bad, but for the purposes of our development, for us to move out of economic quagmire into a more realistic nation, yes, there's a need to remove the subsidy.
Okay, yes, and we hear that, petrol is expected to fluctuate, according to market dynamics. In other words, deregulation. Is there any advantage in this trend? Even though, yes, you've mentioned, yes, we're going to use the money to do other things. What would you say about that?
Okay, the regulation speaks to free market economics. So basically, where you have a free market, or people go to market where it is the demand and supply, the push and pull of demand and supply that determines it, rather than external parties interfering. Now, that is the bedrock of democracy. In fact, it is the free market that differentiates democracy from communism, from theocracy and all that. And all over the world, all over the centuries, we have found out that the most stable, the most productive form of governance is still democracy. So at the root of it is this. So what we are basically saying is that we want the entrepreneurial spirit to come out to help develop the downstream sector of the oil and gas industry, because it will bring innovation, it will bring thinking, it will allow people to take risk such that the most important things will be identified out. Now, we cannot but understand the fact that this can lead to some kind of inflation. But it is important that we also ask ourselves, what do we want? Do we want to continue to crawl, or do we want to push ourselves and take the risk of falling down once or twice so that we can actually walk and run? So that's a question we need to ask ourselves. And some of that is actually a responsibility of those in governance, that they need to also see that, do we want to take the hard decisions that will lead us into the place that we want to be? But that's a judgment call that they need to make for themselves.
Well, I have to ask you this before you leave. What's your view on the fact that, some marketers didn't wait for the June deadline for subsidy removal before the implementation of, the price increment? Because it's all over Abuja. Like, you've seen one of our colleagues there, Lydia, she said she took the for like 540 naira today. It's not June yet.
Which is true. And I think sometimes questions need to be asked, because if we are to follow the tenets of the law, all the supply till the end of June has been bought under the subsidy scheme. So if we are to follow the regulation on that, that means anybody who is selling outside, what has been subsidized, is doing something that is against the regulation. So there is a place where people need to be questioned. But more importantly, it speaks to another thing that is in our socio-economic fabric. That is the disdain for law and order. We as a people just believe that you can get away with things if you have some leg, if you have some influence, if you're a big man. But people must not forget, apart from the justice aspect of law and order is an economic fundamental. So it's not just macroeconomics, it's not just microeconomics. Because if you look at the nations that we so revere, one of the things that make them to work is the fact that there is law and order in every fabric of their society. The investor wants to come, yes, but he wants to be sure that you will not defraud him. And if there's a disagreement, that the court and the system will be just to them. So everybody should be law-abiding, should do the right things.
Yes, we should always.
For the betterment of the economy.
Yes, we should always do the right thing. Thank you so much, Showumi Olabode there, an oil and gas expert, for sharing your thoughts with us on News Extra tonight. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you. The pleasure is all mine.
Okay, away from the fuel subsidy removal, the Natives, a pro-democracy and anti-sabotage group, has commended the courage and position of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu on subsidy removal. The group, at a media briefing in Abuja, wants judicious use of the nation's resources to fast-track delivery of the renewed hope. Salihu Gwanara has that.
Fuel subsidy. President Bola Tinubu's pronouncement on fuel subsidy during his inaugural speech has since changed the narrative. Consequently, many have resorted to what experts describe as panic buying. While the people await post-subsidy decision from the relevant authority, the Natives, a pro-democracy group, believes the issue of fuel subsidy has lingered for too long.
We call on Mr. President to give no restraints to security officials to immediately go now after any saboteur in the oil sector, particularly petrol station owners, marketers, tank farm owners who may want to hoard the available fuel in the country.
In another development, Progressive Youth Intellectual is advocating for a cordial relationship among the critical arms of government.
On this note, I am admonishing on all major critical stakeholders of the party, especially the legislature, to, as a matter of national cohesion, comply with this arrangement and eschew all form of grievances.
The group wants APC stakeholders and National Assembly members elect to uphold the decision of party leadership in the choice of principal offices of the would-be 10th National Assembly. In Abuja, Saliu Gwanara, NTA News.
Let's go on a break. At this point, News Extra returns with what Nigerians expect from the new administration. And again, saying it that does, hopes are high. Well, hopes are really, really high. So please stay.
Nigeria means unity.
Nigeria means freedom to me.
Nigeria means greatness to me.
Nigeria is indivisible. There is nothing you can do. We all have to savage it together and learn to love each other. We are indivisible.
As a mother and a leader, I will always preach for peace and unity in this country, because that is the only thing that will give us progress. Though tribes and tongues may differ, in brotherhood we stand. And it is the woman that does that.
My friend, let me see your bill. What is this in your bill?
Oh, that. It's gift ship fully paid. Are you an enrollee? Are you registered under the Group Individual Family Social Health Insurance Program? Gift ship.
Gift ship. What is gift ship? Tell me about it.
GiftShip is a group individual and family social health insurance program. Now, the health insurance is mandatory for every Nigerian. GiftShip allows artisans, traders, farmers, mechanics, business owners, taxi drivers, even keke riders benefit from a range of medical surgeries, medical tests, scans at any preferred NHIA accredited hospital in Nigeria. To enroll, an individual contributes only 45,000 naira per annum. For a family of 3, 45,000 naira per annum. Group of 10 persons and above, 15,000 naira a person per annum. This amount is renewable every year.
GiftShip moves, leaving no one behind.
Are you a dealer in cars, jewelry, precious metals and stones and luxury goods? Are you into real estate, or are you an estate agent, surveyor, valuer, developer or broker? Are you into the hospitality industry, lottery business, or are you a mortgage broker, tax consultant or an accountant? Do you have a supermarket, pools betting and consulting or construction company?
If you have,
go and obtain your certification from the Special Control Unit Against Money Laundering, SCUMOL, and be free to do your business within the ambits of the law. SCUMOL has the responsibility to monitor, supervise, and regulate the activities of designated non-financial business and professions, DNFBPs, across the country. Please note that the SCUMOL certificate is not a guarantee of legitimacy of any business. To register, visit www.scumol.org. For collection of certificate, visit any EFCC office nearest to you. Remember, registration is free.
SCUMOL, securing Nigeria's business environment. This message is from Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC.
How do I cope with this heat?
By staying 5 degrees cooler.
Body odor is caused by germs, and on hot days, the sweating and the odor are more. That's why you need to get the new improved Dettol Cool Soap, which offers up to 5 degrees instant cooling sensation.
This is the University of Africa. On the streets, you get your real education. Here, everybody has a degree of something. But the most important qualification is imagination. Her reason to imagine is slay. His reason is to be the goat. Theirs is to take the beat and make it lit. They want to test edgy until it is fire. Their reason for imagination is to add riz in style. Her reason to imagine is finesse. And hers is to find what's new and bussin'. So no matter what your situation, just use your imagination.
The good people of Ugboland in Ilaje local government area of Ondo State heartily congratulates His Excellency Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, Jagaban of Borgo Kingdom, on his inauguration as President and Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces, Federal Republic of Nigeria on May 29, 2023. You are known to be the turnaround specialist, and we are most assured that your administration will elevate Nigeria's economic growth and human capital development such as had never been achieved before you. You are committed to the Nigerian project, and the entire world is waiting to see Nigeria rise higher among the Committee of Nations as you work to strengthen our democracy and deliver on premium class. Congratulations once again, and be assured of the support of Yoruba Oba's Conflict Resolution Council and my imperial blessings always. Announcer is Imperial Majesty Oba Dr. Frederick Enite Olorunda Obateru Akinruto CON Okoro Ajigawan, Paramount Ruler and Prescribed Authority, Olugbo of Ugboland.
Great to have you back. The spiral effect of President Tinubu's statement of the fuel subsidy removal is still reverberating. In Ilorin, the Kwara State capital, the Nigeria Security and Civil Defense Corps, Kwara State Command, has sealed 2 filling stations and arrested 3 managers of petrol stations in the metropolis for hoarding petroleum products in anticipation of higher prices. Kende Omolosho reports that the sealing of the petrol stations followed intelligence reports.
On behalf of the federal government of Nigeria, with the heading of the Commandant, Kwara State Command, Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps, Commander Tupu Ibrahim Mohammed, we are putting this place under seal.
The sealed stations are Rashtop and Alufad petrol stations, both at Akpalara, Yibmot Road, Ilorin. NSCDC Assistant Commandant Ainde Olatunji Yusuf says the Corps, as part of his mandate, is embarking on the monitoring exercise to check hoarding of the product by petrol stations.
So we discovered this petrol station is part of the petrol station hoarding, and what we discovered in the tank is 7,500 liters. So we've mandated that they should start selling now. With your question, their character is nothing to write home about, but we pick the manager. NSCDC, we are going to prosecute the manager with Miscellaneous Act and Petroleum Act for hoarding fuel.
Some of the stations visited were observed to be selling the product between 250 and 300 naira per litre. The monitoring exercise to buyers is a welcome development.
This morning when I went out, I wanted to buy fuel, but I couldn't buy because everywhere all the filling stations are shut down. Some of the few ones that are open, there are a lot of queue. So it was an eyesore.
The appeal is that it should be a continuous exercise. Kehinde Omolosho, NTA News.
Well, this next report is about a young Nigerian who I can tell you was born with an extraordinary passion and love for Nigeria. His path crossed with that of Salihu Gwanara at the inauguration of the nation's 16th president, Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Salihu, let's hear you.
The popular saying that youth are the future leaders. Since Nigeria's independence in 1960 till date, at various levels of governance, youth have played different leadership roles in the nation's development. Rukaya Dambazau was only 3 years in 2015, coincidentally, at a time the All Progressives Congress came to power with former President Muhammadu Buhari as the country's helmsman. Rukaya did not wait for history to teach her about her octogenarian mentor, Muhammadu Buhari. She inculcated the habit of attending national events at Eagle Square, where the then president presided.
I always like coming here because a lot of Nigerians are here to rejoice with President Muhammadu Buhari and President Bola Ahmed Tinubu.
Since 2015, when President Muhammadu Buhari won election, in fact, she was the one who insisted that she must come and rejoice with Mr. President, President Muhammadu Buhari. The same thing in 2019, she also very much interested in President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. That's why she insisted that I must bring her here.
Her prayer for the country's leaders first attracted me to Rukaya during one of such events.
What do you want to tell Nigerian children?
I want to tell them that they should work hard and they should be reading every day so that they can be something they want to achieve in life.
Like friends and well-wishers of Nigeria, Rukaya drives her passion again to the Eagle Square on May 29, 2023 to witness the exit of her mentor and make a wish for the current administration.
I want him to fulfill our promises and to make Nigeria to grow up better than before.
Like the title of the proposed working document of President Bola Tinubu, Renewed Hope. Indeed, there is hope for Nigeria's democracy with the likes of 11-year-old Rukaya Dambazau, who is keenly paying attention to the country's democratic journey. In Abuja, Salihu Gwanara, NTA News.
Wow, that's really, really lovely. Well, Rukaya, we wish Nigeria all the best. That's a good one. Well, after the successful swearing-in of Bola Ahmed Tinubu as the 16th president of Nigeria, the society's expectations of him are high. Tessie Omeri was out to get a feel of it in this report.
Attention was literally shifted to Nigeria as about 65 world leaders, including heads of state, were on ground to grace the colorful event. However, the Nigerian people see things from a different perspective in their thoughts about this development, which is coming with demands ranging from good governance, improved security to other needs.
The speech of His Excellency the President, it really brings hope and ginger us back that Nigeria is going to be better. But one thing I want everybody to understand that is a dual process and it's a dual responsibility. Who will be responsible, and the presidency and the government at large, from the most important to the least important.
He should open the border so that the issue of food too should be far better than the former administration.
Transition on the back of renewed hope, they say, brings optimism.
I look forward with hope that this time around, a lot of the things that Nigerians are yearning for will materialize.
All eyes are now on the new administration to see how it will utilize the nation's resources effectively for the common good of all. Tessie Omeri, NTA News.
Well, thank you so much, Tessie, for that. Now, a feasible economic policy that will create jobs and impact the life of the common man should be the priority of the President Bola Ahmed Tinubu-led administration as he gets down to business after taking the oath of office as the 16th President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Continuation of the reforms in the oil and gas sector and painstaking implementation of the renewed hope template are part of what analysts say should be the focal point of the new administration. Joel Popola has that.
The swearing-in of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu as the 16th president, a new era has been ushered in Nigeria's political landscape, and the expectations of Nigerians is at its peak. Amidst the encomiums pouring in for the new sheriff in town, Nigerians want the new administration to hit the ground running to deliver on its campaign promises.
First, security, because that is even the very essence of governance. Once that is secured, I want them to move quickly to see how they can boost the economy by embark on those projects that will create jobs and generate jobs.
To ensure that there is smile on the face of everybody, to ensure that everybody is not hungry, to expect that everybody has a house on his head, to ensure that the health facility is provided for everybody. You know, the 4 cardinal programs of the progressives is always there.
Nigerians are also advocating for an all-encompassing economic policy that will energize critical sectors in the nation's economy, such as power, infrastructure, as well as fiscal and monetary policy. Since the president is not expected to work alone, the appointment of ministers into the Federal Executive Council and other institutions pivotal to the economy and security of the nation, analysts say should not be business as usual, but based on merit in order to achieve the desired objective.
The important thing for the president to do is bring everybody together, work out an acceptable arrangement for national rebirth on the basis of which we can chart an economic development program.
We need to build confidence in our people to trust us. And when confidence is built, then the people can trust, and then you see that Nigerians are very resolute people. They can win, they can succeed anywhere.
One of the landmarks achievements of the outgone administration is the signing into law of the Petroleum Industry Bill, which is expected to be a catalyst for the growth and development of the oil and gas sector and the economy at large. This, the stakeholders believe, will be a springboard for the success of the Tinubu administration.
This is a good gift to Asiwaju's government to address this issue of subsidy, to address the disruption in supply of petroleum products, because now we can produce almost what we need.
Respondents unanimously agreed that the new administration has the capacity to deliver on its renewed hope agenda. In Lagos, Joel Bukbola, NTA News.
Naturally, when something new comes up, there are a lot of expectations, more so for a government coming on the heels of a turbulent era. While Nigerians are urging the new administration to invest more in critical infrastructure, diversify the economy and prioritize youth employment to evolve a new Nigeria. Goodluck Enaini reports.
Congratulating President Bola Ahmed Tinubu on his inauguration, some Nigerians, while reacting to his inaugural speech, advised the president to be firm and initiate policies and programs that can take Nigeria out of her present situations. They advised President Tinubu to respond promptly to the challenges facing the country.
They should try in their power to take care of ASU, make sure that schools, Nigerian universities are able to do their own research, come out with something better. It will be good for our education system.
They should ensure that the production capacity of industries is up, take it up, reflect the economy such that the purchasing power of the people will go up.
For them to tackle the issues of security, raise the standard of living.
If the power sector is boosted, it will go a long way in providing jobs.
The present administration, in their opinion, should hit the ground running and bring in experts in the finance sector, education, health, agriculture, and create more job opportunities to turn around things in Nigeria. In Benin, Goodluck Enaini, NTA News.
And a meeting between the organized labor unions and representatives of the federal government to avert a looming agitation on the upward review of petroleum price has ended in a deadlock. Musbaud and Wahab reports that the meeting held at the State House, Abuja.
Removal of fuel subsidy in the deregulation era is an issue that has endured over a decade in the country. Successive administrations have declared continuation of the subsidy payments unrealistic with its negative effects on the nation's economy. But staying true to his campaign promises, President Bola Tinubu, in his inauguration speech, believed there is no need postponing the evil days.
Subsidy can no longer justify its ever increasing cost in the wake of dry resources.
Following the pronouncement is an upward review of the petrol price by NNPC Limited just 2 days later. The effect of the review on Nigerians and a looming reaction from the organized labor unions necessitated an emergency meeting. And rising from the meeting lasting about 3 hours, representatives of the labor and that of the federal government were not smiling.
The President called for a meeting of government and the labor, and you have seen the labor union, the president of the NLC, the president of TUC, and all their executive members are here. And we've been deliberating on finding very, very amicable resolution to the issue at hand, to the queue and all of that, and the increase in pump price. And we had a very robust engagement. The impact on the poorest of the poor in the society would be very minimal. That's part of the talks that are going on between government and labor.
So that has not been determined yet, the intervention?
That's part of the talks going on.
What are the prayers of the NLC?
The prayers of NLC is that we go back to status quo, negotiate, think of alternatives and all the effects and how to manage the effects this action is going to have on the people, if it is an action that must take off.
And so this appears to just be the beginning of the dialogue between the organized labor unions and the representatives of the federal government. And so the parties have agreed to reconvene again in just a matter of hours. From the State House, Musbal and Wahab, NTA News.
So judicial matters now. The legal team of Atiku Abubakar and People's Democratic Party PDP has continued with presentation of more certified true copies of documents before the Presidential Election Petition Court to prove alleged case of electoral malpractice in the February 25th, 2023 presidential election that produced President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Judiciary correspondent Austin Nayebe has the report.
At Wednesday's section, counsel to the petitioners tendered several sets of certified true copies of documents in evidence. These include forms EC8A downloaded from IREV in 8 local government areas of Bayelsa State, 23 local governments of Kaduna State, and 20 local governments areas of Ogun State. Others include forms EC8E from Kaduna and Kogi states, and forms EC8C from Kaduna State, plus 3 copies of forms EC40G from Kaduna State, and 20 sets of certified true copies of forms EC40G from Ogun State. The petitioners also tendered through the bar certified true copies of printout of beavers on accreditation in respect of the 3 states of the Federation to the court. Though these documents were admitted in evidence by the court and marked as exhibits, respondents' counsel raised their objections to the admissibility of majority of the documents, saying they will address the court before their final address. Hearing continues 1st June on Atiku's petition. Meanwhile, the Presidential Election Petition Court has also adjourned to 1st June 2023 for further hearing of the petition filed by Peter Gregory Obi and Labour Party challenging the election of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu of the All Progressive Congress. The adjournment was at the instance of counsel to Peter Obi and Labour Party Awa Kalu, Senior Advocate of Nigeria, who prayed the court to grant the adjournment to enable him address a challenge he is contending with at the Secretariat, as 2 of his key staff are ill, promising to come back 1st June to continue with proceeding. The respondents' counsel, including Abubakar Mahmood, Wole Olanipekun, and Lateef Fagbemi, all senior advocates of Nigeria, did not oppose the application, hence granted by the court. The leader of the Presidential Election Petition Court commended counsel for their conduct and cooperation so far in the proceeding. From the Court for Appeal, Abuja, Austin Anyebe, NTA News.
Thank you, Austin. The next segment of News Extra raises hope for the women folk in the country. A parting gift from the 9th Assembly, perhaps. Plus, that reminder that says smokers are likely to... ... You know the message. Join us for these and more when we come back.
Nigeria means a lot to me.
And Nigeria means peaceful cohesion.
My country.
We continue to pray, and then hopefully we will come to understand that unity of purpose, unity of living together.
Our ethnic beliefs and background and culture is our strength.
Ever since the amalgamation period of 1914 to date, about 109 years ago, the people of Nigeria live very peacefully with one another.
I think diversity helps a lot to enhance robust development in Nigeria.
All over the country, you have so many ethnic groups, over 250. That is enough to tell you that this is a blessed country, that, God has kept, together as one indivisible entity.
It's time for friendship, time for family, time for another get together. Hey, let's celebrate. Veleta moment, a happy moment. Veleta moment, share a moment with Veleta. It's time for connection, smiles, laughter, and love. It's time for sharing moments. Hey, let's celebrate.
Enjoy every moment with the goodness of Veleta sparkling fruit drink. Available in 75 cl and 37.5 cl bottles, and comes in red grape, white grape, and peach variants. Another product of premium quality from Intercontinental Distillers Limited, IDL. Veleta sparkling fruit drink. Celebrate every moment.
Veleta.
New beginnings are always colorful. When we celebrate the start of life's journey, we marry in colors. With our proudly Nigerian Dulux paints, now available in any color. Express your world however you want it. Visit a Dulux color center to get any color instantly.
Dulux, let's color.
Need the new Happic sachets. It has a thick formula, so all you need is just one sachet for your toilet bowl. It gives 10 times better cleaning and big savings too.
Wow, Helen!
Sparkling clean toilet with Happic sachet.
How do I cope with this heat?
By staying 5 degrees cooler.
Body odor is caused by germs, and on hot days, the sweating and the odor are more. That's why you need to get the new improved Dettol Cool Soap, which offers up to 5 degrees instant cooling sensation. We don't like to eat better, more nutritious meals, more veggies, but we want it tasty and easy too. Knorr Cubes, that's the secret. Made with real ingredients like chicken, parsley, and garlic. And enriched with iron, so your meals are better for you and more delicious too. That's the cocoa. Let's give it some accolades. Change your world by changing what's on your plate.
Thanks so much for staying. Enhanced defense and security are critical components of a developing country like Nigeria. And the special report defense correspondent Ismail Musa highlights the major tasks ahead of the Tinubu administration in the ongoing quest to further secure the nation.
These were some of the features of the nation's security atmosphere, characterized by killings and destruction of property.
We have a total of 71 persons dead.
Before the coming of Buhari administration in 2015, Boko Haram terrorist group was the dominant threat in the country.
Of course, there were issues of the unknown gunmen in the southeast and now the rising banditry in the northwest. In that regard also, the government has done extremely well, deploying armed forces, patrolling the streets, combing the entire bushes in the northwest, and dealing and decimating the remnants of these bandits and terrorists across the country.
The birth of new administration comes with more responsibility in sustaining the momentum in the quest of securing the nation.
The issue of unknown gunmen in the southeast and some other parts of Nigeria, that also, with proper coordination, I think the government has to focus on coordination of security. One, the issue of intelligence gathering. Two, utilization of the intelligence and the information that we gather from the fields. And then thirdly, the approach to addressing those insecurity issues, particularly in the southeast, northwest, and the northeast.
Similarly, experts enjoin the government to further equip the Nigerian police to effectively dominate liberated ungoverned space and create a deliberate policy to increase the population of the nation's security personnel.
So our territorial defense, it must be of utmost importance as far as the new administration is concerned. Improving and strengthening our military relations, as far as civilian military relation is concerned, is very, very key. It's high time we concentrate on our own indigenous production of armament and other logistics so that our dependence, on foreign armament will reduce.
The insurgents, the kidnappers, and whatever are very fluid. They are very dynamic in their operation. So there is the need for the incoming administration to equally keep changing strategies. What is happening in the southeast is that people are afraid to come out to give information. It should be a local arrangement from the government house of the 5 eastern states. They should be able to come up together and infiltrate and give information. The military cannot do anything if you don't give them information.
Nigerians at the grassroots were also advised to see the task of securing the nation as a collective responsibility by providing timely and accurate intelligence report to security agencies. In Abuja, Ismail Musa, NTA News.
Now, President Tinubu's inaugural speech has generated quite a stir, but his pronouncements on agriculture raises hope for accelerated and steady growth in the next 4 years. Agriculture correspondent Musa Baba Aliu takes a look at some of these proposed policies and programs and what will be the impact on the nation's food production.
Agriculture economists are of the view that the sovereignty of a nation is measured based on the country's ability to feed it or herself. Nigeria, apart from a sovereign nation, the country is not also dependent on other nations for staple food. This, however, is not without challenges in areas of production, storage, processing, and marketing.
Lack of consistent access to affordable finance, unavailability of quality inputs, skyrocketing prices of input, high post-harvest losses, fragmented and unstructured market, and dangers associated with negative climate change.
We had a situation where we had cashew nuts close to $300 million, stranded in the port because of the processes, the congestion to have this cashew moved to the ultimate users.
My administration. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu says his administration has identified these challenges and outlined how the government will address the issues.
A nationwide program for the storage and facilities to reduce spoilage and waste. All of that will be undertaken.
Commodity exchange boards will be reintroduced under the new administration. The boards will be responsible for granting minimum prices for certain crops and animal products.
Agricultural hubs will be created throughout the nation to increase production and engage in credit, promote credit, engage in value-added processing.
One major challenge confronting food production and the economic and social life of farmers is conflict with herders over grazing areas. President Bola Tinubu says the issue will be addressed through a modern approach to livestock rearing.
The livestock will introduce the best modern practices and steps taken to minimize the perennial conflict.
While analyzing the government proposals, farmers' associations believe if all things go as planned, Nigeria will continue to be the largest producer and exporter of processed food in sub-Saharan Africa. Musa Baba Aliyu, NTA News.
President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has expressed confidence in delivering a new Nigeria that citizens will be proud of. But population managers and experts say having an accurate census data is of high necessity for the president and his new administration to actualize all pre-election and pre-inauguration talks, advising them on giving the census project top priority. What is the import and scientific implications of a national headcount to Nigeria, as well as a believable statistics for planning and development purposes? Oluseye Adiagbo finds out answers to these questions.
Once you are dealing with distribution of resources among a population that is as heterogeneous as Nigeria, without data you cannot govern objectively. Without data you cannot rule scientifically. It's impossible.
It's been more than 17 years Nigeria last conducted a national head count, even as the country's population keeps increasing and currently estimated at more than 200 million, with projection by the United Nations the figure could double by 2050. The second quarter of 2023 was primed to deliver a first digital census, and the National Population Commission, former President Muhammadu Buhari, approved the postponement of the exercise to a date to be determined by the Bola Ahmed Tinubu-led administration.
Yeah, census is important for everything we do, but I think we should do it in a climate that is conducive.
And I think the President Buhari did well to postpone it.
A professor of demography, University of Ibadan, Professor Oka Obono, frowns at the lack of believable data, as well as the implication of further delay of the exercise.
The apparatus for managing the census is already in place. They have trained people. They have purchased kits. They've gone that far. I think what the government needs to do is make sure that the technical elements in the census are okay. We can verify that and then send these people to the field this very year. Because if there's any further delay, it will cost more.
In separate interviews with these population managers, a new census data is no doubt long overdue.
I think they should continue the program and ensure that our census is done so that we know exactly how many we are.
Census has already started off, it's going on, and I can't see the government stopping it.
This census program is actually needed for development of our nation.
In our next population and housing census special report series, we will be looking through the inside of the MPC geospatial dashboard and how promising it looks to deliver a fully digitized census whose data will be credible, transparent, and verifiable. In Abuja, Oluseye Adiagbo, NTA News.
In another story, the chairman and chief executive officer of ASD Group of Companies, Sani Dauda Garkwanza Zobaba, has on behalf of himself, the management and staff of the company, congratulate President Bola Ahmed Tinubu on his inauguration. The message indicates that President Tinubu's victory at the polls is a victory for all Nigerians, owing to the antecedents as a former governor of Lagos State. The CEO of ASD Group of Companies, Sani Dauda, expresses the confidence that Tinubu will discharge his duties effectively, wishing him the protection and guidance of Allah. In the meantime, with days to the end of the 9th National Assembly, senators seem determined to redeem themselves over 3 bills on women and gender equality, which were among the constitution alteration bills that did not make it to the state's assemblies. They are reconsidering the Gender Equitable and Opportunities Bill, as National Assembly correspondent Ignatius Nkwo reports.
The first item on Senate order of the day was the executive request for payment of judgment debt. There was objection from some senators, led by Senator George Sekibo, demanding that it should be stepped down for the 10th Senate to consider, but the presiding officer ruled otherwise.
Bringing debt loads at the closing point of a vacating Senate, it is not the right thing.
But whatever the merits or the demerits, I think all those arguments should be presented before the committee. Therefore, I will put it to vote. Those in favor that this be referred to the Committee on Local and Foreign Debt say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it.
Senator Biodun Olujimi once again presented the Gender Equitable and Opportunities Bill before the Senate, ruling out its anticipated contributions to the empowerment of Nigerian women as the bill passed second reading.
The bill seeks to address several forms of issues bedeviling men and women in their constituencies, in issues of land ownership, inheritance, education, employment, and rising tide of sexual, gender-based violence.
That areas that are controversial should not be included in the provisions of this bill. So, and I'm saying that in her submissions here, in her submission here, she has not made those areas, she did not tell us what she has seen.
We debated extensively, and the agreement which the Senate President communicated was that we should allow her to consult, and after consultation, bring it back, and they will put it to vote without further debate.
Federal Investor of Petroleum Technology, Ohaji Egbema, and the Federal Investor of Science and Technology, ONIMO, Imo State Establishment Bills, sponsored by Senator Rochas Okorocha, also passed second reading. Senate adopted the report of its Committee on Public Accounts, which recommended, among other issues, that the executive should address emergency expenditures through supplementary budget and not from service-wide votes. It also adopted the report of its ad hoc committee on the recovery of ground rates due to federal government.
The minister, when we met with him, said the land registry domiciled in the ministry is being digitalized, due to be commissioned in May. That this will promote efficiency and ease of doing business with the ministry.
Senate paid tribute to late Raymond Dobesi, founder of African Independent Television and Ray Power FM, who died Monday this week. It urged the federal government to immortalize him, as moved by Senator Francis Ali Mihena. 2 senators resigned their membership of the People's Democratic Party, PDP, Matthew Urogide, representing Edo South, with immediate effect, while that of Ayo Akinyelure, representing Ondo Central, is to take effect from 11th of June 2023. From the National Assembly, Ignatius Nkwo, NTA News.
Meanwhile, a legislation that would add impetus to the fight against trafficking and abuse of drug in Nigeria has been approved by the House of Representatives. National Assembly correspondent Lami Ali reports that the amendment grants the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency power to review penalty on drug-related offences in Nigeria.
The National Drug Law Enforcement Agency Amendment Bill was forwarded from the Senate for concurrence. The bill, earlier passed and forwarded to the Executive for assent, was however sent back to the National Assembly for necessary corrections. The new provisions would enable the NDLEA establish laboratories, update the list of illicit drugs, and prosecute offenders.
What was the provision before? What was the term of years there, so that we can understand the justification? Because I think that possession, which could come in any way, is fairly draconian.
The life being destroyed in comparison to the punishment they are not close to. You now imagine your brother turned into a mad person on the street. From productivity to uselessness and hopelessness, I think we should support the government to do the right thing.
bill to grant the Revenue Mobilization, Allocation and Fiscal Commission to enforce its power to monitor and disburse revenue from the Federation accounts in conformity with constitutional provisions was also approved.
The existing act does not enable the authority, give them the enablement to properly enhance the process. So this act is seeking to give them that enablement to make it easier for revenue mobilization for national development. 7
bills were read for the third time and passed, among them bill to establish the Microbiology Council of Nigeria.
To provide for the council of its membership and to promote and foster the practice of microbiology in the Federation and for related matters.
The House also passed the bill to establish Federal College of Health Technology, Beni Sheikh, Borno State, sponsored by Usman Zanna. Meanwhile, House Ad Hoc Committee investigating operations of real estate developers in the Federal Capital Territory has submitted its report for consideration. From the National Assembly, Lami Ali, NTA News.
And away from that now, on most, if not all, cigarette packs, but on most of them is this inscription: smokers are likely to die young. And there is truth in that because of the danger nicotine poses to health. That is why in 1987, the World Health Assembly passed a resolution calling for the celebration of World No Tobacco on May 31st of every year. This is to advocate effective policies that would halt tobacco epidemic and its negative health impact on individuals, societies, and nations. On this report, Basi Taikpan takes a look at the significance of the day beyond raising awareness.
That smoke, I would advise them to stop smoking.
Peter John adding his voice to the advocacy to say, we need food, not tobacco, in line with the theme of this year's celebration. World No Tobacco Day, observed as a global initiative, plays a vital role in reducing the burden of tobacco-related diseases and promoting a healthier society.
It also exposes the tobacco industry's efforts to interfere with attempts to substitute tobacco growing with sustainable crops, thereby contributing to the global food crisis.
The tobacco epidemic is one of the biggest public health challenges the world has ever faced, killing more than 8 million people around the world yearly. WHO regrets that while the number of people using tobacco products is decreasing in some parts of the world, it is rising in the Africa region, with an estimated 64 million adult users in 2000 to 73 million in 2018.
In Nigeria, the 2012 Global Adult Tobacco Survey GATS showed that 5.6% of Nigerians, that's about 4.5 million Nigerians, 15 years and older, were currently using tobacco products, of which 3.9%, equivalent to 3.1 million persons, were current smokers.
These figures attribute partly to the increased production of tobacco products as well as aggressive marketing by the tobacco industry. Anti-Tobacco Day therefore serves as a reminder of the devastating impact of tobacco on individuals, family and communities, encourages smokers to quit and prevents young people from starting the habit. Basi Taikban, NTA News.
Many thanks so much, Basi, for that report. Now it's time for us to do business, and we have Benny Adams on Business News. Benny, take it away.
Thank you, Fatima. Welcome to Business. Ahead of the promised tax reforms by the present administration, the Executive Chairman, Federal Inland Revenue Service, Mohamed Nami, is of the view that it is time for government to consider reviewing policies on tax waivers, thereby guaranteeing increased revenue to prosecute government business and improve the country's tax-to-GDP ratio. This is as Nami reveals the latest tax-to-GDP ratio, which grew from 6% to 10.8%, the highest in 12 years. Nami attributed the growth to the ongoing reforms that are impacting on business processes to include blockage of leakages.
we also discover that, okay, if people are complaining of being overtaxed, where are these tax revenues going? Then we look at what has been happening in the past. We discover that taxes and levies that hitherto are collected by ministries, departments, and agencies that are collecting them. These taxes and levies are not accounted for in the course of computing tax to gross domestic product of this country.
This is in addition to royalties brought to the Federal Revenue Sharing Agency, amongst other taxes. NAMI says with the continued deployment of technology and efforts at centralized data, Nigerians should expect improved figures for 2022 to be released soon.
Not be in a position to advise anybody or the National Assembly to say that we should increase our tax rate. What we should do is we continue to work on building infrastructure that will give us the opportunity to be able to have a seamless view or bring every tax intelligence together in a centralized data bank so that we are able to raise revenue. The leakages are so much, the informal sector is very huge.
Target for the country is to meet a sub-Saharan average of 15% tax to GDP at the end of 2024. And now taking a look at the markets, Nigeria's President Bola Ahmed Tinubu now holds the record for the Nigerian leader to trigger the biggest gain in the stock market since 1999, as the market remained green today. At the end of today's trading session, a total of 661.5 million shares in 10,024 deals, corresponding to a market value of 18.9 billion naira, were traded. Compared with the previous trading day, which was Tuesday, today's data shows 20% improvement in turnover and 1% improvement in deals. The current market capitalization is 30.4 trillion naira. Access Holdings recorded the highest volume of traded shares, followed by United Bank for Africa and Zenith Bank. Well, that is business news. Fatima, it's nice doing business with you.
It is always nice doing business with you, Benai, like I usually call you. Now, the reputation of Aba as one of the cities with the largest concentration of micro, small, and medium-scale enterprises in West Africa has been proven not to be by accident. It was acquired by long-standing display of ingenuity that has snowballed into the manufacture of local products for exports. Benson Osadebe reports that this commercial hub of Abia State in southeast Nigeria has, through hard work by thousands of artisans, carved a niche in finished leather products and textile materials with global competitive advantage.
About the commercial city of Abia State prides itself as the Japan of Africa and a creativity hub in Nigeria. This is believed to have come through the ingenuity of its artisans, which has endeared it to investors within and outside the country. Made in Aba products, including leather and textile materials, are capturing international attention.
Actually exports. I have some clients. I have someone in New York I signed to. I recently made a backpack she used for an NGO, about 400 pieces. I have another client in Austria too that I also signed places.
I'm coming from Benin. We are trying in terms of work because even China, they are not doing what we are doing.
The shoes section of the Arara International Market is a testimony to the ingenuity and enterprising spirit of the people as they turn out stunning pieces with their dexterity. Ranked among Nigeria's economically buoyant cities because of its volume of trading activities, experts believe that the leather and textile industries remain the game changer in the economy and the industrial profile of the state. The influx of people from other West African states and beyond in search of made-in-Aba shoes and textiles, observers noted, is an acknowledgement of standard quality.
We are telling them that we are doing a quality shoe in Aba. That is why we are changing them, and I can do my shoe with my own name.
Despite the gains of their entrepreneurial exploit, they have challenges from irregular power supply to environmental condition, obsolete equipment and phones.
We really need machines to perfect what we do. then finances. Because we're always trying to get better and we are trying to be able to compete with the international market.
They say they look forward to the day relevant authorities will intervene to address the challenges for optimum productivity. In Aba, Benson Osadebe, NTA News.
Another breather beckons. We'll be right back.
You have to move from the point where you protect and defend your religion to a point where you also recognize the rights of the other person, of the other religion, and protect it. So if I am protecting my own territory and my own people and trying to emphasize their rights and protect their rights, I should also be thinking about how to protect the rights of the others.
Both Islam and Christianity recognize and defer to God, and both recognize the temporariness of the life of this world, and that ultimately we all go back to God for the day of reckoning, when everybody will render an account of his life on this temporary abode.
Bye, Mom.
He's going to play in this weather? Why did you let him go? He might fall ill.
And if he doesn't go out for practice, how will he win more trophies? To protect our family from illness-causing germs during the rainy season, we use Dettol soap every day.
Dettol with Germ Defense gives you protection. Raining season brings a lot of germs, and Dettol soap's Germ Defense protects you from up to 100 illness-causing germs. Dettol soap is endorsed by the Nigerian Medical Association. Be Dettol Show.
Need the new Happic sachets. It has a thick formula, so all you need is just one sachet for your toilet bowl. It gives 10 times better cleaning and big savings too.
Wow, Helen!
Sparkling clean toilet with Happic sachet.
Like a bird needs wings to fly, you need skills to be productive. No matter the level of your education, ITF can train you to acquire skills in areas like mechatronics, metal machining, facility technology, electronics and computer networking, information and communication technology, ICT, culinary art, and agriculture. Acquire a skill and transform yourself from being unemployed to becoming even an employer. Be a valuable Nigerian youth. Say no to unemployment and poverty.
Oh, I'll spread my wings and fly so high. I'll reach for the stars, yeah, it's time.
Industrial Training Fund, developing the nation's human resource.
If you want to become something, become a child again. Why be a patient? If you must worry, then worry about winning. Why worry about germs? When you come home, bring tales and stories. Why bring in germs?
Shield your families from germs. When Dettol is a part of every household bucket, then you and your family can stay protected from up to 100 illness-causing germs.
Everyday use of Dettol keeps my loved ones protected.
They have come.
Once Obafemi performs the rite, it means that he has been accepted as heir. I need an answer from the gods.
Darkness is coming. Blood is coming. Defender of the stone throne. The warrior who will defeat those no man has defeated. Your destiny is tied to her own and to this land.
Since that time, people reduced us to nothing. And Moremi fell in love with their son. She can rot in Gallo.
Stop telling the lie. Stop telling the lie.
Welcome back. Health is wealth. I'm sure you agree with that. No wonder healthcare providers are by their oath of service to attend to their patients in honesty, humility, and compassion. Question is, are these prerequisites obtainable in public health institutions in Nigeria? Uche went to some hospitals in Abuja at the instance of allegations gone viral of negligence by health workers and dirt of facilities. Here's her report.
CT scan, MRI, and ultrasound machines in use for patients. Outpatients waiting orderly for their turn, those at the emergency being attended to promptly. Everything seems to be going well in this hospital.
When we came in at about 12, it was something else, but they attended to us speedily.
The treatment has been, like, the nurses are very caring. The doctors too, they always come to check up on him.
A lot of things are working. Let people come and see for themselves. But the most painful thing is that people should know that the issues of terminal diseases, they will bring them down from this place. And probably they must have wasted time in private or other hospitals. And you also rush them to National Hospital and say, let him or her go to National Hospital where he or she will die. We don't keep people here. We do our best. We put in our best. We have experts, in all medical fields.
But is this the scenario on a daily basis?
When I took my son to the hospital, I have that experience that I was the one going up and down, calling, shouting, before I could get a doctor to attend to my sons.
Especially the auxiliary nurses are usually not nice at all. They are very rude.
You have to pass through the process, and that's the policy of the hospital. But they complain. We give time to patients to attend to them.
As individual, you expect to get the best. At the time you come, you want the services. And as long as you have not gotten this, then the individual who expects to respond to you, then you now make conclusion that he is rude or there is negligence. But I want to assure you, Nigerian nurses, they have the best training.
WHO has projected a shortage of 10 million healthcare workers globally by 2030. This is already manifesting and taking a toll on Nigeria's health service providers, where one nurse, for instance, attends to between 30 and 40 patients a day, against the WHO recommended 1 nurse to 4 patients.
Then the answer is shortage of manpower, and that is the federal government has been trying as much as to provide facilities. There was remarkable improvement on the provisions of basic equipment. If we can provide at least probably 8, or maybe a nurse can attend to 8 patients at a time, or maybe 5, we'll go slightly above the WHO standard, then we'll be able to discharge and carry out our.
The clarion call, however, is for more training of healthcare workers, provision of a conducive work environment, and for patients to keep to appointments and be more responsive. Uche Ugochukwu, NTA News.
Now let's talk about something different. Ornamental plants are plants that are specifically grown to decorate or beautify the surroundings. They are trees distinguished from crop plants, such as those used for commercial purposes and afforestation. Ornamental plants also serve as shades along the streets. In Calabar metropolis, just like in other places, ornamental trees are planted along almost all roads, and this adds to the aesthetics of the environment. However, the maintenance of these ornamental trees is what is critically necessary, as lack of care is gradually making them wither away. This is what correspondent Udwak Etim X-rays in the next reports that you're about to see.
Ornamental trees are for shades, beautification and decoration to enhance the aesthetics of any environment and also to mitigate climate change. It could be of plants intended for commercial food production or basically for aesthetics. Although the architectural design of some environment provided for these ornamental trees, as the case in Calabar metropolis. This concept was reinforced in 1999 when ornamental trees and grasses were revived by the then government with vigor.
We have tangible and intangible benefit of a tree. That's why trees are planted. But it protects us.
These trees also serve as fresh air, but the ones that are closer to the road should be removed. The ones that are not close to the road should be developed.
Over the years, these ornamental trees have grown and overgrown due to poor maintenance culture, and as such, the trees are either becoming a problem to the electrical installations or causing accidents, like a situation where the overgrown ornamental tree fell and killed a tanker driver recently, just like this one, which fell and blocked the major highway in Calabar metropolis.
The states look beautiful because of these trees, but at the same time, these trees are not meant to last forever. They are meant to stay after some time. They should be cut, deforested, and then replaced with new set of trees. The moment you leave them overdue, you see what is happening. They begin to fall and cause hazards.
In a swift reaction, efforts are made to cut and remove the trees from the road to allow for free vehicular movements, as the cars are already plying one-way drive. So, what is the way forward for the use of ornamental trees for the critical role of enhancing the beauty of the environment?
They can easily fall as it has fallen because of the wind. So these ones should be faced off. I think that's one of the measures that should be taken. And
these are our trees, they are aged. We'll soon eliminate all this aged one. So we are going to remove it and bring other improved varieties.
The main lesson here is for the people, organizations, and governments to nurture and sustain good maintenance culture for a clean and serene environment. In Calabar, Uduak Etam, NTA News.
So far, so good. We take our final break, after which we bring you sports.
Never again should this happen. We have passed through this path before, and it was not good for us. I remember the horror, the crime, the blood, dead bodies everywhere. I almost lost my mind. I could not sleep. I remember the cry of innocent children. Many lives were changed forever. We shall never go through that path again. Let us all stand in solidarity with our armed forces, our men and women, all who must stand in truth, in honesty, to build a vibrant nation, a nation that you and I can be proud of.
How do I cope with this heat?
By staying 5 degrees cooler.
Body odor is caused by germs, and on hot days, the sweating and the odor are more. That's why you need to get the new improved Dettol Cool Soap, which offers up to 5 degrees instant cooling sensation.
They are real. They are the drama queens of Abuja.
If you're not real, you will be consumed, okay?
Stop calling me my mom joke.
You have an intruder in the house. The meter of the disgrace is rising. You're old.
Who said I need deliverance? Ha! Deliverance!
It wasn't me. She got me on the Wasn't me. Arafat pulled me aside for a chat. No.
The Real Housewives of Abuja, only on Showmax.
To watch this and other Showmax originals, simply add Showmax to your DSTV subscription using the My DSTV app.
Time for sports, and we have RDG Makinde with that.
Organization of Military Sports in Africa has pledged its support to the development of grassroots talents in Nigeria while targeting kids and teenagers as focal points. The pledge was made at the final of mini skating championships, where winners emerged in long jump, ramp jump, men's and women's marathon categories, matched to the delight of facilitators and spectators.
And I feel so excited because I don't really know that I'm going to win.
We decided to say, okay, let's have a mini-meet championship to see how we are going to organize national championship where all the adult and children will participate in Nigeria.
22 medals were presented to outstanding skaters and certificates issued to all participants. Government Junior Secondary School Jabi Abuja have reassured its commitment to producing students with outstanding academic, moral and sport excellence after they emerged as overall winners of FCT Inter-School Championship at Planet Futsal Abuja, clinching gold in the chess event, 5-a-side football and painting. 5 schools were selected to participate in the competition. In tennis, Kosovo Olympic authorities have asked the International Olympic Committee IOC to open disciplinary proceedings against tennis world number 3 Novak Djokovic, accusing the 22-time Grand Slam champion of stirring up political tension at the French Open. Djokovic wrote the message on a camera lens following his first round win on Monday, the same day that 30 NATO peacekeeping troops were hurt in clashes with Serb protesters in the Kosovo town of Zvecan, where Djokovic's father grew up. With sports updates, Ayodeji, Makinde, NTA News.
The Director General of the Nigerian Television Authority, NTA, Salihu Abdulhamid Dembos, condoles with friends, family and associates of the Dokbesi family, as well as the management and staff of Dar Communication over the death of the chairman of Dar Communication, Raymond Dokbesi. Comrade Dembos describes the late media mogul as a visionary leader and a prominent figure in the field of communications, whose dedication was instrumental to the establishment and the success of Dar Communication. The DG NTA notes that Dokbesi's mark in the media and communication industry will remain indelible and one that will be remembered for years to come. He comforts the family, urging them to take solace in the cherished memories shared with the late Raymond Dokbesi, and also extends his sympathy to the employees of Dar Communications. Meanwhile, the funeral arrangements of late Dr. Yakubu Sanki has been announced by the family. The funeral arrangements indicates that there will be a service of songs in his residence at plot 9277 Mongo Road, Jos, on June 1st, 2023 by 4 p.m. while interment is on Friday, June 2nd, 2023 by 10 a.m. at Sanki Family Compound, Kamaru Station, Zangon Kataf Local Government Area of Kaduna State. Well, on that note, we conclude News Extra for tonight. Thank you so much for watching. I am Fatima Umar Buba. Please stay safe.